Hello, everyone. Today's story is very special. It's different. It's a young lady who has gone into cooking and being a chef. I met her at her current position. We were going over an event, and then I got introduced to her, and she is a young Bahraini lady. And it was interesting for me to see her so excited about her job. So I thought, why not bring her in here and let her tell me her story and share it with you all. So let's hear it from her, Naseem. Hi, Naseem. Nice to see you with us here today. I was very lucky the other day that we were over at your current position or current place that you're working in right now, and I met you. And I was very impressed when I saw a young Bahraini lady being a chef. And I got excited and very interested. I wanted you to come and do this interview with us, or let's say this chat with us, and tell us your story. What is behind Naseem becoming a chef? So start with, let's say, what I usually do is I have them start with high school. Okay, we go
Right.
back to high school, and then give us a little bit background of that and what take you to where you are today.
All right. Thank you very much for me being here today. I'm very pleased. Um, as you said, it was like meant to be to meet and to know about my story. My story is pretty simple for me, but when I tell it to people, they go like, "Wow, how did you do that? Why did you do that?" And I see the wow effect in their face. But for me, it's very humble and simple. I just followed what I loved to do all the time since I was a kid. So let's start with what you said,
Yeah,
like high
high school.
school.
Yeah.
I was in high school, the good student. I was doing science, math, and physics. I didn't know at that time if it's my thing or it's not my thing. I was just the good student who studied and did good in school. But at the same time, since I was a kid, like in my childhood, it was all about cooking. I would spend my time in the kitchen. I
Okay.
would love, I used to love to bake a lot, cook anything, like whatever is there. My mom used to cook. I would take a portion of it and just do something that without a recipe, it was just a childhood thing, a hobby thing. And I knew somehow that I'm very connected to the kitchen, food, ingredients. Even when we used to go out in restaurants. I was the one who used to pick the most weird things or the most, I was curious about food. I was
Food. Okay.
curious about the ingredients. I used to love to go to supermarkets, small pharmacies, small grocery stores, farmers market. I used to love to pick my ingredients. I used to like to pick my food. And I used to like to cook for others as well. So it developed through the years.
Were you encouraged by your mom?
I was somehow encouraged by my mom because my mom used to cook for us every day. She used to work. She was a full-time worker, but when she comes back from work, she used to cook for us really nice foods. Not expensive ones actually, but they were very simple but very tasty at the same time.
Okay.
And maybe this kind of thing inspired me with my taste buds or the ingredients that I would pick. So yeah, in high school, I finished my high school. I really wanted to do cooking. I really wanted to go to a culinary school, but it was a bit challenging in the beginning with the culture around like cooking is not really
A
a
profession.
profession. You
Yeah.
can do it as a hobby on the side, things like that. And
Okay, tell me, was it, okay, which year was this?
let's say around 2000 and between 2006 to 2014.
Okay. Now, when you say the culture around you, are you talking about home, about your parents, or in general, the family, everyone around you, even your friends?
I think I'm talking about, in general, the culture of the whole community.
Okay.
Maybe my parents were happy for me to have such a hobby, but at the same time, when we look at the bigger picture of the culture, a woman working as a chef or a young person taking the profession directly as a culinary, not studying something else. So you get fear a little bit when you're still young. So you go with the safe option, the normal
Yeah.
option. So the first option I got, it was an internship because I was the good student. I got an internship for architecture. So this was my first option. So I went for it. So I did architecture. I did my bachelor's degree in architecture as well.
Where, here in Bahrain?
Here in Bahrain.
Okay.
So it was mostly about art, designs, also science a little bit. But this also didn't keep me away from my hobby. So I always used to do something on the side, even if it's something small, you know, like at home, or like small projects that I would recommend to a friend or family. So yeah, it started like this. I finished my bachelor's degree in architecture.
Okay,
And
interesting.
Yes, and then I started to work as a junior architect in one of the companies in Bahrain. However, at that time, I realized that I was good in architecture, actually. I got a really nice job as well. However, at that time, when I used to work every day, 8 to 5, same thing over and over again. But on the side, I was doing my hobby. So I was like, why am I just not focusing on the thing that I want to do?
Okay.
So
when you say you were doing that on the side, you mean at home, just cooking, or were you really taking it up as a hobby and doing business with it?
First, it was just a hobby at home for friends and family. And then I started it as a small project. It was called the Sushi Project. It's not existing anymore. However, it was a start for me to see what people, or how will I react in the real industry of the culinary. So it was amazing. It worked really well. And that was through my working days as an architect. So I used to do both. I did not really have time to do both. For me, I want to focus on one thing and do it perfectly. Otherwise, it won't work. Or it will work, but at the end of the day, I'm going to regret not going to the thing that is my hobby, and I know that I can do really a profession in that. So yeah, starting slowly, I just, I kind of knew somehow that I really want to do this. I left my job. I went to my boss one day and I told him that I want to leave because I have a hobby. I want to take it to another level.
Now, how long was this since you started the job, the architecture job? Did you stay long or?
Not really. I stayed around 7 months.
7 months
less than a year.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And at that time, I used to look for options for culinary schools or like trainings in Bahrain or even outside of Bahrain. Okay. So it was a risk, but it was a calculated risk. Yeah.
So what were the views of your parents when you decided that?
This is a bit funny, but when I resigned, I never consulted anyone.
Okay.
I just resigned. I went back to home, and I told my parents that I resigned, and I really want to do what I really want to do what I love to do. I kept it safe for around 6 years, doing my bachelor's degree and all. I hope I made you happy, but right now I want to do what I want to do. I saw my parents' eyes. They had fear, but at the same time, they were encouraging me because they knew somehow that I really love that thing. and it was encouraging. They had the fear, as I said, but I was very confident about what I did. It was a risk, but a calculated risk, as I said. So yeah, and then
I'll tell you something. It's very interesting because with your generation, I mean, you're same generation as my kids, and I have noticed something that a lot of you went and studied for the sake of others, say parents, culture, everyone around you. And I'm not going to say all, I'm not going to say little, but most of you guys came back and you said, okay, I got the bachelor's degree. That's to satisfy everyone else, but that is not what I want to do. So now I will go and do the things that I want to do. Okay, I've noticed that a lot. We've got a big percentage of that in the society.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately and fortunately at the same time that this is happening, I would say fortunately because maybe in the beginning when we're young, we still don't know what to do. It might be something that we love and then maybe we'll just get away from it, or it's like نسميها بالعربي طفرة. Yeah. So it's a fortunate thing because you go and study, and at the same time, even if you study something, it's never bad to study anything.
Yeah, of course.
Knowledge is never bad.
Yeah.
Like even for me, I never regret the 6 years I spent on my bachelor's degree in architecture, because it is one reason that it made me jump to a master's degree in culinary arts. So if I didn't have a bachelor's degree, I wouldn't be jumping into master's degree.
Okay, so now tell us what happened. So you came home, resigned, and faced everyone that, listen, guys, this is what I want to do. What happened next?
So what happened next is that I started looking for options. I really had nothing 100% guaranteed in my hand, to be honest. I was looking into projects that I can do, small projects, or I thought about, at the end of the day, I've never worked in a real industry. Real industries, like, they are the real thing that you would face. Working at home or small project is not something that you would know for sure.
Yeah, you're talking about cooking now.
About cooking, yes.
Okay.
So what I did is that I went to various restaurants and hotels in Bahrain to do training.
Okay.
To apply for just a trainee. So a person having a bachelor's degree in architecture wanting to do a small training or whatever, it's, you name it, I'm gonna go every day, train. Even for me, it was like, even without a salary, I would just go for it just to learn.
Right. But why would they take you in cooking if you, I mean, was there a test they would do? Was there, okay, so tell us about it.
Right. So I was also worried about this part. Actually, you're right. I was worried about that. I have no background in culinary. So that's why I applied as a trainee, as a person who will go and do the, in culinary world or in the kitchen, we call it as a commis. Commis is the person who helps in the kitchen.
Okay.
So like peeling potatoes,
Right.
peeling onions, or cleaning here, cleaning there. So for me at that point, I had no issues doing that.
I was just going to say that.
As long as I will enter a kitchen, a professional kitchen, I had no problem with that, to be honest. So one of the places was the Gulf Hotel in Bahrain. I applied as a trainee, and fortunately, I did my homework before I go to the interview.
Okay.
I made like a nice booklet with the pictures of the things I used to do, the pictures of the recipe books I used to have, my experience, what I used to do, and these kinds of things. And I brought this booklet to when I went to apply to the training. So they were impressed. I did my homework. These are the things that I'm doing. So I was accepted as a trainee.
That's nice.
And by time I got accepted as a management trainee at the Gulf Hotel. So basically it's like I'm training in various departments at the Gulf Hotel, various restaurants. And I think that was like the most lucky thing I had in hand, because there is like 17 different outlets and restaurants plus the banquet in there. So it was like a 360 degrees of training that I would take from there. So I think I was lucky with this opportunity I had.
So when was this? How many years ago?
This was exactly on 2015.
15, okay. So
Right.
about 6 years ago?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I did my training in there. I did my management training. I succeeded very well in there. So I was sent for a scholarship to Switzerland to finish my master's degree in culinary art.
By them?
By the Gulf Hotel. Yes.
Okay.
So I did the master's degree in culinary management.
Okay.
So it's all about, it's like you learn what is culinary arts, but that's basics, but then you learn how to manage the big kitchens. So that's what I was specialized in.
With cooking, right?
With cooking,
Okay.
exactly.
I thought just managing, just standing there and managing what's going on in the kitchen.
I will talk about the managing of the kitchen. What is it exactly?
Okay.
Like developing menus, training the
I
people,
see.
how to make
Okay.
the things, hosting the menus. It's completely a lot of things, basically.
And how many years was this?
My degree was for 2 years.
2 years,
In
okay.
Switzerland, different parts of Switzerland. So I used to do 6 months of school and then 6 months of internship. I was also accepted in Switzerland in a 2 Michelin starred restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was one of the few people who got accepted in there, in the 2 Michelin star restaurant. So I did my internship there for 6 months. I was also very lucky in there, because I say that this place where I really, really learned the most.
Okay.
It was not easy at all.
I'm sure.
It was at least 16 hours of work a day, standing on your feet, first timer, learning, like jumping from just a place to a 2 Michelin starred restaurant. I had to, like, on top of the 16 hours a day I used to stay even more to make a better thing the
Just
next day.
Prove yourself.
To prove myself, and at the same time to learn for myself.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me, in this phase that you were going through, and all of this pressure and stress, did it ever come to a point where you would say, "This is it. I don't want to continue. I'll stop"?
To be honest, not.
No?
The more pressure I had, seriously, I had a lot of pressure, a lot of not normal days, I would say. But the more I was having pressure, or the more of not normality or out of the routine, the more I wanted to discover more. So
Wow,
it would just push me more and more.
Okay.
Every day. And
So the internship in the 2 Michelin star restaurants, how long did it take? How long were you there?
I was there for 6 months.
Okay.
So I was there in Switzerland for exactly 2 years.
Okay.
But I would say from those 2 years, this 6 months, I did my internship in the 2 Michelin star restaurant. My chef Lamparts, amazing chef, very tough one. But I learned a lot from him.
I'm sure.
And I learned one thing: the more you are under pressure, the more you are put into situations that are harder situations, you would learn more. So this is one thing I learned. It was, as I said, it was not easy at all.
Okay.
It was just how I would push myself every day to do better, to learn more, so that when I'm back and I have my own position or my own thing, I know what to do.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so you were there for 6 months. The internship finished. Were you given a chance to join that restaurant, or?
I was actually on my first internship. It was in a hotel in Switzerland. I had a chance.
Okay.
And in the second one also I had a chance, but I always had this thing for myself. I would say I want to go back to my own country.
Okay.
I want to do my thing in my own country, because if I do it somewhere else, I would not be standing as a unique, let's say.
Okay.
But if I take those kinds of experiences from everywhere I go and bring it back to my hometown, that's where I'll be standing. And plus, this is where I live, this is my hometown, and this is where my family are. So that's the life I want to go with.
Okay, so you always had this in mind, to go study, learn, and come back.
Correct.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So you came back, right? And what happened?
I came back to the Gulf Hotel. I started my position as a chef in the operations of the Gulf Hotel.
Okay.
Also, I would say that's not an easy
Task.
task at all. However, it's the motivation every day.
Okay.
It's the thing that you love. I mean, what makes me go through every day is because I love what I'm doing. Honestly, if it's someone who had the same strength, same confidence, same knowledge, would do the same thing that I'm doing, but don't have the passion or love, they would never continue even for a day.
Okay.
But I think, like, whoever it is, if they have a passion for something, arts, fashion, culinary, banking even, like, it will be the time that they want to spend in. This will be one of the priorities.
So are you telling me that when you go to work, you never look at the clock saying that when is it going to be that I go home? When is it going to finish? I want to go home.
I mean, let's not lie.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not lie. It depends on the day.
Yeah.
So if the day had like cool events, big events, new events, like for example, Oktoberfest or National Day, or like nice conferences, something out of the routine, that's something I'm really looking forward to.
Right.
However, when some days that are like, it's a routine, you gotta go and do a costing for a menu, for example, you need to sit on the computer, make a new menu. So it depends on the day.
True.
But at the same time, even if it's a routine thing, every job has a routine.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
That's something we all need to be convinced with.
Right.
Right.
So COVID happened.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately. But fortunately as well.
Yeah, it depends on how you look at it. What happened? Everything kind of shut down. What did you do during that time? Did you use it as in a good way to develop yourself more, or were you like, what is this? When is it gonna get over? Get back to our normal lives. So what happened with you?
So during COVID, I think the most affected areas or places were food and restaurants, as well as hotels. Mm-hmm. So this time for everybody, I think it was a low time. When it comes to our mentality, our how we feel, and the working, even the working hours. I mean, for me, on a busy day at work, I would spend at least 12 hours a day or 10 hours a day. But during COVID, there is not much. There is much to do, to be honest. For us, like to manage all these places, the people, and all these things, we had a lot to do actually.
Oh, okay.
However, it was sometimes less. So for me, I don't see it as something that would stop me or stop anyone, because we have time. Sometimes we stay at home, like sometimes we're quarantined even, or sometimes we have more days off or our annual leave that we can't travel anymore. So what are we gonna do at home? For me, to be honest, I took this time as I would develop myself, develop recipes. I would make a small project that I would do my own sauces or my own products and share them with the families, friends. It's something that I think it's a good thing. Somehow, of course, it's a bad thing. But I mean, if we can't do anything about it,
slowed down life, so it made you work on some other things that you wouldn't have if this had not happened.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So did you develop new recipes, any sauces, anything unique to you?
I've been developing some products that I'm doing at my own house, to be honest. Very simple things. I honestly, as a chef, I like to work with seasonal products and local products as well. So I don't really like to go to fancy, expensive products to be something nice. You can use the most humble ingredients and transform them into the best thing.
Okay.
It's like the theory of minimalism.
Yes.
So you have minimal things, and when you transform them into something that is actually gonna be used, or something that is actually nice, you can do something about it. So it's the same with ingredients. It's even a cucumber, you can do a lot with a cucumber.
Tell me your environment at work. Do you get motivation and push to do innovative things, to come up with new recipes and all that, or you don't have time to do that because of all the pressure of work? Do they give you time to do that?
Actually, there's always time for the things that you want to do.
Okay.
So even if there's pressure at work, there's a lot to do, you can always spare time, even if it's 1 hour a day for the thing that you really want to do, you will do it.
Okay.
So I don't believe in people excusing that, I don't have time. It's like, I'm not a gym person at all, but it's like those people who really like to go to the gym, they also have a full-time job. They also have very stressful time. But then when they leave work, خلاص, work is finished. Work is done. They would remove it from their brain and go to the gym, do what they love. For me, it's the same. I do my work. When work is done, it's done. I go back, or I spare time to do the things that I'm doing. Okay. It's like a painting, for example. Right. You finish your day, you go to paint, and that relaxes you. Okay. For me, when I go to the kitchen, it relaxes me, to be honest. Okay. Apart from a kitchen at work, a kitchen at home is much more relaxing. For me, it's actually a therapy, I would say.
Tell me, Naseem, are you married?
Yes, I'm married.
Okay. Yeah. And how does your husband look at this?
I'm actually married to the most wonderful husband. He's very motivational. He motivates me every day. And
I'm sure he loves your cooking. That's for sure.
He loves my cooking a lot. And he's one of the people who motivated me since I started my career. And he really believes in me. He really believes
Okay.
in what I'm doing and what I'm able to do as well.
Okay.
So I think I'm very lucky to have my
That's
husband in my
wonderful.
life.
That's wonderful. So tell me, what's next for Naseem?
Next for Naseem is a lot of things, to be
Okay.
honest. I'm still in the process of experiencing things, learning things. However, I want to learn more. For me, what I really want to do next, I don't know if that's going to be in the next 2, 3, 5 years, but I really want to do the science of food, where it's the manufacturing of food,
Okay.
like to produce or to manufacture food. It's like, let's say Nestle, for example, how
Yes.
they have their own brand and they manufacture foods and different types of things. Or even like, it's like a line of brand that manufactures food. This is where I really...
Are you looking at local food, something to do with our culture, Bahraini culture,
Right.
Bahraini food, or are you looking at it in a general way?
To be honest, as I said, I'm a chef who loves to use seasonal products
Yes.
and local products.
Okay.
So, for example, if I'm in Bahrain, I'm gonna always be using local products.
Right.
As much as possible. I mean, in Bahrain, we have a lot of products. I don't believe in the people who say this is not good or we don't have that. We have a lot of things. It's just that how are we going to use these things?
Right.
So if I'm in Bahrain, I will be using local products and seasonal products,
Okay.
because seasonal products means fresh products.
Right.
But if I'm going to be doing something for not Bahrain, for example, I'm just saying, like,
Yes. If
somewhere
you want to
else-
go international.
international, it's gonna be something that would fit into the people's environment,
Right.
or people's produce. So it all depends where you are,
Okay.
who you are, who you're dealing with. So that's how I look at
Yeah.
it.
Tell me, let's come back to Bahrain and the cooking and culinary area. Bahraini chefs, do we have a lot? Are they numbered? Are they growing? Is the interest growing?
The very positive thing, to be honest, is that recently, in the past, let's say 1 year,
Okay.
I'm seeing a lot of students and trainees doing training jobs in culinary and cooking. They have small projects from home as well. This is very positive. But also at the same time, I think whoever has a passion for cooking, they should take it to the next level.
Okay.
They should take it professional.
Right.
It's a hobby, yes, but cooking and food is a whole different world.
Well,
it's a whole world of knowledge.
Do you cooperate with, collaborate with other Bahraini chefs? Do you get together to do, like events or, I don't know, competition, or just go online and do something together? Do you do anything like that?
Right now, because of the really small numbers of Bahraini chefs, it's really little.
Okay.
However, I really would love to, right now or even in the future, it would be great to collaborate with different chefs, not only from Bahrain, I mean, even from the Middle East.
True.
The whole Middle East.
Okay.
It's really fun to do that as well, because you get to know different cultures of food, and you get to know the culture of the country or the person through the food itself.
Okay.
And that's what I also experienced through a journey I was in 2 months back. I've met really amazing chefs from the Middle East, from different parts of the Middle East. And I learned a lot from them because of their food culture. Although it's all Arabic food, which it's Arabic food, however, it's... you learn a lot. You learn the philosophy of food, the culture of the people through the food.
Right.
Like how they live, how their childhood is, what is their taste buds, how do they spend their days or their income, how do they feed their family. These kinds of things, they're all they can be all taught through food.
Food, yeah. I tell you, food takes me back. There are certain foods that when I have, it immediately flashes back to when I was a kid, when I was a child, we were growing up.
Right.
So it has the same effect as, say, like perfume or songs. It's the same thing.
Exactly.
And one other thing that is very interesting also, I'll share with you is I've noticed that a lot of dishes that we do, even though it's the same dish, each house has its unique way of doing that dish. And sometimes you come to know, this is from so-and-so's house, and this is not the way we do it, this is the way they do it. They add this to it, and they add that. Even though it's the same dish, but it's very interesting. You're right. It's a very interesting area.
It's exactly what you said. It shows the culture of people. Like for example, let's just say an example of a sauce that we all have it in the Middle East. You do it with thyme, for example, like rosemary or whatever, and I do it with lemongrass, let's say.
Right.
So I'll tell you my recipe. You're gonna tell me my recipe. It's the same dish or it's the same sauce. But why are you using this herbs and I'm using these herbs? Is because, for example, you grew up in a place where there's a farm next to you that has all these herbs. So you're gonna pick those herbs and put them in the dish. So it's the same dish at the end of the day. It's just where you're coming from. What is your environment? What is your what grows in your environment? So yeah,
perfect. So great. What is the last thing you want to say about passion in life? About what do you want to get across?
I really want to get across maybe. If you have a passion, don't get scared. It's never gonna be easy. Don't look at the easy path or your comfort zone because none of the options that you would pick is easy. Just go with the thing that you're confident and have passion about, enhance it, get knowledge about it, and just do it. So, nothing is going to be easy in life.
Thank you so much for coming here and sharing your story with us.
You're welcome.
I'm sure everyone will enjoy hearing you and hearing your journey in the cooking industry.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
That was really nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.